Hey Roscoe, and anyone else who might be watching. I haven't done one of these in ages. I've probably said this before, but I may have done some others that weren't quite as ages ago as the one that appeared on YouTube. But sometimes I record these things and I'm just not really happy with what comes out for whatever reasons. The other reason is it's been really dark on the way home, which tends to be when I record them on my drive home. And if it's too dark, you can't actually see me. I've got no light, you know, I'm driving a car, I can't really have a light blaring on the inside of the car. So we'll see how this one holds out with the light. Hopefully you can see me enough. So I've got a few things I might want to, you know, let's just do a bit of a general update with what's going on, where things are at. We're currently 1st of February 2018 and beginning of another year. I've had plenty of stuff going on outside of this gym, strongman, power, you know, strength thing. I touched on some of that before. There's a bit of death in my family, and yeah, so stuff going on in real life that has on occasion impacted in what I'm doing. But basically I'm still in sort of off-season training, still getting coached by Clint Darden, clintdarden.com, the house of biceps. I should learn to say that in the same way. I continue to be one of the Bicepticons. I'm really enjoying it. I'm learning a lot of stuff. I'm being pushed in good ways, and he's helping me no end with various bits and pieces. Recovery work is a big deal. More on that. Yeah, training's going. I think training is going really, really well. I was looking at competitions for this year. I mean, I always keep my eye open, and me and Clint have been kind of tracking towards a couple of competitions which I knew would be coming up this year. South East England's Strongest Man, which I know happens down, it's like Kent Way, the end of August. That one might be a little bit dodgy on the dates because it's around my wedding anniversary and my wife's birthday. So I've done my previous two Worthing Strongest Mans the last 2 years. I've both been on one of those dates as well, and it pretty much anyone who's in one of these sports will know these sports can be a very selfish thing. Even though the competition may be on one day, all the days leading up to it as you get closer become about you and about how you're going to perform, making sure your nutrition's on point, making sure you're getting your recovery in, rest. You know, it's just incredibly selfish. So having your wife's birthday and wedding anniversary there, yeah, I think I've done very well to have had a couple of competitions in 2 consecutive years on that weekend. So yeah, that's where that is. So I think South East England is kind of probably going to be out of the question, but they were still, as a kind of what they call a light opens or an open level competition, heavier than inters but not quite at the level of qualifiers for nationals. That's kind of where the weights were, and I was also tracking towards the qualifier for the, now let me get this right, BNSF, British Natural Strongman Federation, that's it. Their qualifier, Southern England's qualifier, which qualifies you for a British Championship for the Natural Strongman Federation, which could lead on to Europeans and Worlds as well. I mean, it's interesting. that comes in at a kind of heavy inters, light opens kind of weight. It's quite nice to have that ability to qualify and go up to a national level competition. It's kind of nice. I think they've got a North England, South England, a Welsh and a Scottish qualifier, so I think there's 4 qualifiers, and that all feeds into the British. I don't know how many at each qualifier, probably the top 5 in each one, maybe it's just podium, I don't know. But I was kind of looking at that, so those are the I looked at the events for 2017 on that, and that's what I was kind of gearing my training around. But between sort of last, at the tail end of last year, the guys that own the gym that are training announced Isle of Wight's strongest man, and it's been a very popular sign up. Yeah, I'm not going to go into some of my thoughts exactly on all of it, but it is a very heavy competition. Now I did consider, I mean this would be in July this year, mid-July this year, on the Isle of Wight, and I'll go into some of that in a minute, because for anyone who may stumble upon this who doesn't live in the Isle of Wight, there is some interesting points there. So yeah, it's a heavy competition, mid-July. I was going to do the intermediates, or I thought about doing the intermediates because it is a heavy competition, and the weights at that intermediate level are still challenging to me. I think some of the numbers, like a 130 kilo log for reps, I can't even do that still. I mean, it's probably fairer to say I have not done that, and probably can't. I don't know where my log really is. The heaviest I've done is 120. I did that over Christmas, first time on a proper big boy log, and it was easy on that day. So there was probably more in the tank, but I haven't done 130, and I dare say 130 would be a stretch too far. 260 deadlift for reps. I mean, December, I think I hit 3 reps at 260, and that was hard going. Probably did that in about 30 seconds or so. So in a competition environment, I might be good for 4, 5 at a very pushing if I'm feeling really good. 130 farmers, yeah, I'd be pretty good at that. I don't know where the yoke was at. I've got a funny feeling it's like a 260 yoke or something, which again, quite doable. Oh, very doable. I mean, I should be able to do that pretty damn quick. 140 log for stone for reps over a yoke. I'd be good for, again, in a competition environment, blah blah blah. I'd probably be good for at least sort of 5 reps at that. So I'm not saying I would win, because I really am not, and I've explained myself on that before. It's like, it doesn't matter how good I can be, you can't control how good anyone else is. And I know some of the names that have signed up for that intermediate level, and they're fucking great guys, so a win is certainly not guaranteed. I'd have probably a really good fight with some people for points. So, maybe I should be doing that. That's not my style. When I talked to Clint about it, it's like, what does your head say you should do? What does your heart say you should do? This, that and the other. We talked about it, and he said ultimately, you know where you are at, you know what you're risking, and potential injury and stuff. You know roughly what you will be able to achieve. You've got to do what your heart says, and my heart says I need to do the opens, because that's where I want to be. Now the opens, that's really fucking heavy. I mean, John Bleach, somebody who I've mentioned before, I used to train with occasionally for some events training, pretty much got me into this strongman batter. he considers it to be a heavy opens comp, so it's a heavy opens comp. We're talking a 150 log for reps. I mean, that's what they had at the Giants Live Tour World Championship or whatever it was, the finals. That isn't World's Strongest Man, but it's near as damn World's Strongest Man in one day event. They had 150 log for reps. They were using a 150 log for reps at World's Strongest Man in 2017. You know, this is a heavy fucking log. So far, I think there's 5 guys signed up to the Opens, and I know John Bleach has got a 150 log as his max, which I think he did in competition actually. Got a rep at some kind of Irish Invitational thing. And there's a guy called Matt Crawford, who's not been at the game very long at all, but he's incredibly strong. And I know his log is one of his strong points. I'm pretty sure I've seen him do a 140 log in video, and that was some time ago now. I know he's had some injuries and some issues and whatever, but I think by the time the comp comes, he'll be capable of 150 if he hasn't already done that before. I think it'll certainly be doable. And there's me, a guy called Mark Stanhope and a guy called Aaron Richmond, both of whom train with John Bleach, both same boat as me, stepping up from the Inters into the Opens. They're both stronger pressers than me, but I've got a funny feeling they are tapped out at 130 at the moment. So again, slapping an extra 20 kilos onto a very technical overhead press between now and then. I'm going to say they're not going to do it, and I know they're going to bust their asses trying to, and I wish them all the luck, but from my experience, 20 kilos on a lift, like a log press, when you've already been at it for a few years, that's a tall order. So I don't know what they're going to bring on the day. I'd be excited to see what they can do. I certainly won't be lifting it. I'll still be training my log as hard as hell, because I undoubtedly want to get a bigger log press. It is under par for the Opens. It needs to be up at about 140 bare minimum, I think. Particularly if I want to start looking at qualifiers maybe next year or whatever for national levels. So yeah, that's heavy log. 300 kilo deadlift for reps. Now again, I've not done a 300 kilo deadlift, so you know, I've done 280, a bit hitched, but you know, this is strongman, and that was back in about March time last year, so we're almost a year down the line from there. I don't really know where my deadlift is at the moment. I've done some good deadlifting in recent times. Around the Christmas period I pulled 270, which obviously is very close behind my PB of 280, and I pulled 5 singles, and technique didn't break down at all. Bar speed was good all the way through. I kind of wanted a double at it at some point, but you know, the opportunity just hasn't arisen yet, and I took 5 singles with sort of 5 minutes break in between reps. I was fucking pretty happy with that. I've subsequently been doing a lot of deadlifts again with chains and against band, really more recently against band tension, about 50 to 55 kilos. Usually when I put a video out, I'll say like plus 50 kilos in band tension, so I can be pretty confident because I've got a set of luggage, like digital luggage scales, so I can actually pull against the bands to where my lockout is, and I can actually tell you what it is. Now it floats around sort of 26, 27 ish kilos per side at lockout, but I call it 50. I know it's slightly over 50, and I could even, you know, measure a little bit of tension at kind of like where the bottom is and stuff like that. So my point is I could be reasonably happy with how accurate I am being when I'm saying like, oh, plus 50 kilos. I'm not saying that last night I pulled, this is at a 12-inch height. Actually, because we're using soft blocks, the height is actually less than 12. I think it got down to about 11 or maybe even like 10. No, it wouldn't have been 10. Anyway, it was a 12-inch block pull with 250 on the bar against 250 against 50 in bands at the top. The way it was set up, it had plus 10 in bands at the bottom. So in theory, 260, 12-inch up to 300 at the top. So I was really fucking happy with that, and it moved well. No juddery hitchy nonsense going on. Yeah, pleased with that, really fucking pleased with that, to be honest. Real confidence boost. But that's the closest I've got. So I do a lot of variations like that, so it'll be deadlifts against bands, different heights, deadlifts with chains, doubles, singles, sometimes triples, all the way up to like 5s and 6s, back offsets occasionally. Don't tend to do speed pulls, do a lot of box squats with bands. That's kind of like my speed work on sort of that posterior chain. The box is kind of parallel just above, so I'm not going deeper. It's not hugely different from being at the bottom of a setup for the deadlift, really, as far as where my leg positions are and stuff. So that's kind of how that gets trained at the moment. I'm doing a bit more accessory work on the legs, try and build up some more of that power, because my deadlift has changed ever so slightly as well. Substituted power off the floor in exchange for a stronger lockout, which is where my weakness was big time. So all good. 300 deadlift, I'm whittering on, fuck, as usual. I'm almost home. And I haven't even talked about any of the stuff I kind of had in my mind. 300 deadlift for reps. What else we got? 150 a hand farmers, 15 meters turn, 15 meters back, 150 farmers. That is going to hurt like fuck. I could do that with 140 now and I would be slow. So what I could do with 150, I don't know. It's not going to be pretty and it's not going to be fast. But I've got 6 months, so we're all right. 380 yoke. I've done 350 yoke as kind of like a max 5 meters. The instruction on that day when I was training was work up to you wanted me to do, go kind of like all out weight wise for just to pick up sort of 3 to 5 meters, get it up and get moving and see what's what. And 350 was roughly where that was, and that was with actually, even though it was only 5 meters, with a decent pace. So 350 in a minute, 15 meters there and back I could do now. So I've got 6 months to put 30 kilos on top of that. If I can complete that run, I'll be happy. Aaron Richmond is fucking great yoke runner. He got that nailed like a long time ago. John Beach is obviously going to be very good at that. I don't know what Mark and Matt are like on that. Doesn't really matter. I don't really care what those guys are like on it. I'm going to put everything I've got into it and see where we are. Conan's walk, Conan's wheel rather. It's 260. In theory I've done that already, but every one of Conan's wheels will be different slightly, so I don't know what that'll actually be like on the day. I know it's going to suck fucking bollocks. And then finish the 160 stone over yoke for reps, 4 foot height. That's right, well I guess it's a 48-inch setup. So yeah, that's kind of like IOW Strongest Man. So I think what I'm going to do is, sack off any competitions between now and then. That's really the one I want this year. So plenty of off-season training this year. Prep for that specifically will probably start about 12 weeks out, which makes that what, about April time? April, May, June, yeah. That's probably when that will kick off. And by then that's halfway through July, unless there's another comp. That's September, October. I'm not sure there'll be much more in the way of competitions this year. The idea is to just get my head down and got a lot of honest graft done. And then hopefully next year be in a position to actually start looking at being a little bit more competitive in the opens category. Might be good for, you know, aiming for a podium spot in a light opens, maybe throw my name into the hat or qualify for one of the national type levels. I don't expect to win, but it'd be nice to just be there and be part of it. Yeah, those are kind of my current thoughts. It's only February the 1st, so we'll see where we are. Yeah, things obviously could change, but that's really where I'm at the moment. That's the goal, which will kind of segue nicely into the next one of these, because I actually want to have a talk about goals and goal setting, and not just like your next goal, but a bit of a talk about end goals, because I think that's important, and having a kind of a get out, like when do you get out of this game, because, and I'll go into this, ultimately this game is like a strength game in general. You're taking a war on gravity, and you can win the little battles here and there, but ultimately you're always going to lose that war because gravity is always going to win. So at some point you need to know when you're going to get off the battlefield, and that's that kind of exit strategy. Where is it? What is it? What does victory even look like for you? You know, where do you decide to stop fighting? Anyway, that's one for another day. I'm going to go indoors. I'll speak to you later.